Hey, this is Martin from bigboyplants.com, and in today's video we're gonna talk about the Monstera Deliciosa. I was a bit intimidated by its size and beauty, so I wrongly assumed that it was hard to grow it in my apartment. Fortunately, I was wrong, as taking care of a Monstera Deliciosa is not rocket science. These plants are extremely beginner friendly, and they will thrive with the following basic guidelines. In terms of placement, Monsteras will thrive where they can get a good amount of indirect bright light. This could be a window or a balcony. Then we have watering. Only water your Monstera when its soil is dry. This should be maybe once or twice per week, and after verifying dryness, pour water evenly through all the soil surface. Then we have temperature. Keep your Monstera under warm temperatures. That's around between 65 and 85 Fahrenheit, and in Celsius that's between 18 and 30. There are some cool facts around the Monstera that really intrigue me. For example, it's related to the splits in its leaves. These holes are a sign of the plant's health. Maybe you're also curious to understand how to prune a Monstera when it gets too big. So keep on watching, as we will reveal everything you need to know regarding the Monstera Deliciosa basic caring guidelines. Started with light. How much light does it need? The key term here is medium. You should keep your Monstera in a place where it can get the benefits of medium to bright indirect light. Needless to say, do not place it in a dark corner of a room or a bathroom. While they can tolerate harsh conditions, sooner or later your Monstera will decay due to the lack of light. You should avoid the opposite scenario as well. While Monsteras may like gentle exposure to direct sunlight, too much of it can burn the leaves or create unnecessary heat. Most Monsteras like it in bright light rooms or balconies. Here's how my Monstera looks in my balcony. It gets a few minutes of direct sunlight during the day, but most of the time it is exposed to indirect sunlight. How often should you water a Monstera? A balanced watering routine for your Monstera is essential to promote healthy growth and proper nutrient absorption. Monsteras like to be watered on demand, and by that I mean that you should grab your watering can and fill it with water only after you have verified that the top layer of the soil is dry. Watering when the soil is moist or damp can put your Monstera at a risk of root rot. From our research, the moist to dry soil cycle should take place once or twice per week. Again, it is important to mention that depending on where you live, this period will vary. So the best way to go is to monitor your plant on a daily basis and check how is it going. Something that will give you peace of mind is that in case you forget to water your Monstera, they will tolerate this drought. So if you skip a day or two, it shouldn't be fatal. In regards to quantity, I personally do a couple of cups of water until I notice that the soil around the Monstera is moist, about 1 or 2 inches in depth. Now, you can go the extra mile if you increase the humidity around them. And I may say that it's very easy to please your plant by misting its leaves every other day, preferably during the mornings. The reason behind this preference is related to its original environment. The Monstera Deliciosa comes from the Araceae family, which is native to tropical regions of the Americas. About temperature, this type of plants like to grow between 65 and 85 Fahrenheit. You might quite have a challenge if you are in places where the temperature is below 50 Fahrenheit. In that case, I would say you need to place it next to a humidifier and minimize the impact of cold drafts, for example in winter. Also avoid abrupt temperature changes, so whenever you bring your Monstera in, keep it away from heating vents or air conditioning airflows. Talk about soil. Although these plants require low maintenance, you will need to repot them maybe every year while your plant is young. This will help them to replenish its nutrient pool with new soil and boost its growth. It is suggested to perform repotting during spring to take advantage of the blooming period. You can choose a bigger and new container for your Monstera. More depth is recommended, as this will give more space to the roots to expand. Make sure the new container has enough drainage holes to prevent excessive water retention. In regards to the ideal soil mixture, check that it has good drainage properties and that it is rich in nutrients. Standard potting soil should do the work. However, you can always add some peat moss to support the aerial roots. Again, keep in mind that Monsteras grow natively in the tropical jungle, so you should try to mimic this environment as much as you can. Now let's talk about pruning. Is it necessary to prune a Monstera? While this task may not be strictly necessary, some Monstera owners like to limit its foliage volume and the plant size. You can also reduce the repotting frequency and control the space that your plant is filling. Monstera's pruning is very straightforward. Just removing a couple of leaves should do the work. If you spot dead or dying leaves, make sure to cut them as well. To prune your Monstera, you can follow these tips. First, plan your cuts. Identify the key leaf or stalks that you want to remove to achieve a determined shape or promote health. Second, make sure you wear gloves, as the Monstera's sap can be toxic and produce skin irritation. Number 3, use a sharp knife or pruning shears to get the job done. Make sure you clean them with alcohol before you make any cutting. Number 4, you can use healthy cuttings in case you want to propagate your Monstera, so don't get distracted and dispose them. You can check more information about propagation in our guide, houseplants.com/Monstera. Now let's go through some of the most frequently asked questions around Monstera. What happens if the leaves from your Monstera turn yellow? The main cause of this could be overwatering. Make sure to allow the soil from your Monstera to get dry before you water your plant again. Question number 2. There are some leafless brown limbs on my Monstera. Should I get worried? Remember that these parts are known as aerial roots, which help your plant to grow healthy and allow it to reach higher levels to get more light. These roots will come handy if you propagate your plant using cuttings, as you could see in our guide. Why is my Monstera not splitting? There might be different causes of this issue. However, it all comes down to carrying conditions. So make sure your Monstera has the right combination of indirect bright light, moist but not soggy soil, and good humidity levels. Question number 4. Are Monstera plants easy to care for? Yes, indeed. The Monstera is one of the beginner-friendliest plants out there. Question number 5. How long does a Monstera live in water? And this is maybe if you cut it and place it in a vase with water. And this will depend on the carrying conditions and how young is your Monstera. So most owners say that this period could be between 1 and 3 weeks if you keep it in water. So that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned how to take care of a Monstera. For more information, you can visit our site bigboyplants.com. Also, don't forget to check our other videos about houseplants and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, happy planting!